The phone rang 3 days after my mother's funeral. I almost didn't answer it. I was sitting alone at my kitchen table, staring at a cup of coffee that had gone cold hours ago. The house was painfully quiet. My mother's funeral had been on Monday. By Thursday, everyone had already gone back to their normal lives. Everyone except me. I was still trying to understand how a woman who had been part of every important moment of my life could suddenly be gone. Then my sister called. I picked up. "Hello." There was a long silence. Then my sister, Rachel, said something I will never forget. "You should probably stop pretending you're getting anything from Mom." I frowned. "What are you talking about?" She laughed softly. Not a happy laugh. A cold one. "You heard me. Rachel, it's been 3 days since Mom's funeral. What is wrong with you?" She left everything to me. I froze. For a moment, I couldn't even breathe. What? The house. The investment accounts. Her retirement money. Everything. I stared at the kitchen wall. "No." Rachel sighed. "She didn't leave you anything, Claire." I didn't know what hurt more. The fact that my mother might have left me nothing, or the way my own sister sounded almost happy telling me. Then Rachel said, "So don't embarrass yourself by showing up at the lawyer's office expecting some miracle." And she hung up. I sat there holding the phone. My hands were shaking. But what Rachel didn't know was that my mother had given me one final instruction 2 nights before she died. And she had made me promise never to tell Rachel. Not until the lawyer called. Not until the real will was read. And 3 days later, I watched my sister walk into that lawyer's office smiling like she had already won. She had no idea what was waiting for her. My name is Claire Morgan. And before I tell you what happened next, if you enjoy emotional family stories with unexpected twists, difficult choices, and endings that actually mean something, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow. And trust me, you're going to want to hear how this one ends. Because I almost walked away from everything. I almost let my sister take it all. But my mother had one last secret. And that secret changed my entire family forever. My mother, Linda Morgan, was 72 years old when she passed away. She had always been the strongest person I knew. Not loud, not dramatic, just strong. The kind of woman who could walk into a room and somehow make everyone feel safe. She raised my sister and me by herself after my father left when I was 11. Rachel was 13. I was 11. My mother worked 2 jobs for years. During the day, she worked at a small accounting office. At night, she cleaned offices downtown. She never complained. At least not in front of us. Rachel and I grew up differently. Rachel was always the outgoing one. She was beautiful, confident, and knew exactly how to get people to notice her. I was quieter. I liked books. I liked working with my hands. I eventually became a high school counselor because I wanted to help kids who were going through the kind of uncertainty I had experienced growing up. Rachel, on the other hand, wanted money. Not just comfort. Money. She married young. Her husband, Mark, owned a construction company. They lived in a beautiful house outside the city. They drove expensive cars. They took vacations. And somehow, whenever Rachel came to Mom's house, she always managed to leave with something. Sometimes it was money. Sometimes groceries. Sometimes Mom paid one of her bills. I used to tell Mom, "You don't have to keep doing this." And she would always give me the same answer. "She's my daughter." I never argued after that, because I understood. Mothers don't stop being mothers just because their children become adults. But there was something I never understood. Why did Mom seem afraid of Rachel? Not scared of her physically. Scared of disappointing her. Scared of saying no. And as Mom got older, I started noticing it more. Rachel would call and ask for money. Mom would give it to her. Rachel would complain about something. Mom would apologize. Rachel would demand something. Mom would somehow find a way to make it happen. I tried to protect her. Rachel accused me of being jealous. So I stopped talking about it. Until the year before Mom died. That's when everything changed. Mom called me one Sunday afternoon. Her voice sounded different. "Claire, can you come over?" "Of course." Alone. I remember that word. Alone. I drove to her house immediately. When I arrived, Mom was sitting in the living room with an old brown envelope on her lap. She looked nervous. "Mom, what's going on?" She patted the seat beside her. "Sit down." I sat. She handed me the envelope. "What's this?" "Something I need you to keep safe." I opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter. I looked at Mom. "What is this?" "Read it later." "Why?" "Because if you read it now, you're going to ask questions." "Then maybe I should ask questions." She smiled. "You always were stubborn." I laughed. "So are you." Her smile disappeared. Then she looked directly into my eyes. "Claire, if something happens to me, don't fight with your sister." I stared at her. "What are you talking about?" "Promise me." "Mom, promise me." I nodded. "I promise." She reached over and held my hand. "Your sister believes she knows everything." I didn't say anything. "She doesn't." That was all she said. I asked her what she meant. She wouldn't tell me. She just said, "When the time comes, you'll understand." I put the envelope in my purse. I didn't open it. Not for months. Because I honestly believed Mom would live another 20 years. But 6 months later, she was gone. The night before her funeral, I finally opened the envelope. Inside was the handwritten letter. There were only a few pages. My mother had written, "Claire, if you are reading this, I am no longer there to explain things. I know Rachel will probably tell you that everything belongs to her. Please don't argue. Please don't accuse her. Go to Mr. Bennett. He knows the truth. And whatever happens, remember this. I didn't divide my love between you and your sister. I simply learned that loving someone doesn't always mean giving them what they want." Mom. I read that letter 3 times. Then I called the number written at the bottom. Mr. Bennett was my mother's attorney. He told me we would meet after the funeral, but he didn't tell me anything else. So when Rachel called 3 days later and told me that I had inherited nothing, I was confused. Not devastated. Confused. Because my mother had never told me what was in the will. She had only told me to trust her lawyer. Friday morning, I drove to Bennett and Associates. Rachel was already there. So was Mark. They were sitting together in the waiting room. Rachel looked at me and smiled. "I told you not to come." I sat across from her. "You said Mom left everything to you." "She did." "How do you know?" Rachel crossed her arms. "Because she told me." "When?" "A few weeks before she died." I stared at her. "She told you?" "Yes." "What exactly did she say?" Rachel rolled her eyes. "Claire, don't make this difficult." "I'm not." "You always do this." "Do what?" "Act like you're the only person who cared about Mom." That one hurt. Because it wasn't true. I looked at Mark. He wouldn't look at me. Then the office door opened. Mr. Bennett stepped out. "Claire." "Rachel." "Mark." He looked serious. "Please come in." We entered his office. There was a large wooden table in the center. On it sat several folders. Rachel immediately leaned forward. "So, can we get this over with?" Mr. Bennett didn't answer. He took out a sealed document. "This is your mother's last will and testament." Rachel smiled. "I already know what it says." Mr. Bennett looked at her. "I don't think you do." Her smile disappeared. He broke the seal and began reading. "My name is Linda Marie Morgan. My final will and testament is dated March 14th. Rachel shifted in her chair. Mr. Bennett continued. I leave my personal jewelry and sentimental belongings to my daughters, Claire Morgan and Rachel Morgan, to divide equally. Rachel relaxed. She looked at me. See? I almost smiled. Then Mr. Bennett continued. I leave the balance of my retirement account too. He paused. Claire Morgan. Rachel sat upright. What? Mr. Bennett continued. I leave my home at 18 Willow Creek Lane to Claire Morgan. Rachel's face turned pale. What? Mark finally looked at her. Mr. Bennett kept reading. I leave my investment portfolio, currently valued at approximately $840,000, to Claire Morgan. Rachel stood up. No. Mr. Bennett stopped. Please sit down. No, that's not possible. Rachel looked at me. You knew. I shook my head. I didn't. You knew. I swear I didn't. Rachel pointed at Mr. Bennett. She told me I was getting the house. Mr. Bennett looked at her. Your mother did discuss the house with you. Rachel's face changed. Exactly. She discussed it. She promised it to me. Mr. Bennett shook his head. She told me she had made a decision. Rachel's voice became louder. What decision? Mr. Bennett looked down at the document. Then he said something that silenced the entire room. Your mother left you a trust. Rachel blinked. A trust? Yes. How much? Mr. Bennett opened another folder. $25,000. Rachel stared at him. 25,000? Yes. She laughed. Then she looked at me. You're kidding. Mr. Bennett didn't smile. No. Rachel started shaking her head. She promised me everything. Mr. Bennett said quietly, Your mother changed her will after learning what you had been doing. The room went silent. I looked at him. What had she been doing? Rachel stared at the floor. Mark whispered, Rachel. She turned toward him. Don't. Mr. Bennett reached for another document. This is where things become more complicated. He placed several printed pages on the table. Bank statements, property records, emails, and something else. A recording. My mother had apparently left instructions that the recording be played during the reading of the will. Mr. Bennett pressed a button. My mother's voice filled the room. Claire, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry. My chest tightened. Her voice sounded tired, but calm. I know you may be angry with me for not telling you everything. Rachel stared at the speaker. My mother's voice continued. I need you to understand why I made this decision. There was a pause. Rachel has been asking me for money for years. Rachel whispered. No. Mom continued. She told me she needed help with her business. Mr. Bennett looked at Rachel. But the money was not used for the business. A document was placed in front of us. It showed nearly $160,000 transferred from my mother's account over 3 years. Rachel had taken the money. But that wasn't the worst part. Mom continued. I discovered that Rachel had taken out loans using my name. I looked at my sister. What? Rachel's eyes filled with tears. It's not what you think. Mr. Bennett placed another document on the table. A signature comparison. My mother's name had been forged. Rachel had used it as a guarantee on a business loan. If the loan had gone unpaid, Mom could have lost her house. I couldn't speak. My sister looked at me. Claire, I was going to pay it back. I stared at her. You forged Mom's signature. I was desperate. You lied to her. I was going to fix it. You stole from her. Rachel slammed her hand against the table. I said I was going to fix it. Silence. Then Mom's recording continued. I don't want my daughters to hate each other. My eyes filled with tears. I don't want my death to become another reason for them to fight. Rachel covered her face. Mom continued. But I cannot leave Rachel unrestricted money. She needs help, not money. She needs accountability. I looked at Rachel. For the first time in my life, she looked small, not powerful, not confident, just broken. Mr. Bennett explained that Mom had created a trust for Rachel. The money would not be handed over all at once. Rachel would receive a monthly amount. The trust would also cover counseling and financial planning. Rachel exploded. "You're treating me like I'm some kind of criminal." Mr. Bennett calmly replied, "No one is treating you like anything." He pointed to the documents. "These are your mother's instructions." Rachel looked at me. "You're happy?" I shook my head. "No, you got everything. No, you got the house. I didn't ask for it. You got the money. I didn't ask for that either." She laughed bitterly. "Of course you didn't." Then she said something that broke my heart. "She always loved you more." I looked at her. "No, Rachel." "Yes, she did." "No, she always thought you were better." I shook my head. "She thought you were hurting." Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "And you never were?" I didn't answer. Because the truth was, I was. We both were. We just learned to survive differently. After the meeting, Rachel walked outside. I followed her. She stood beside her car crying. For a moment, neither of us said anything. Then she whispered, "I hated you." I looked at her. "I know." "No, you don't." She wiped her face. "I hated you because Mom trusted you." I swallowed. "She trusted you too." Rachel shook her head. "No, she did. She just didn't trust what I would do with what she gave me." That sentence stayed with me, because it was true. Then Rachel looked at me. "What are you going to do with the house?" "I don't know." "You're keeping it?" "I don't know." She nodded. "Of course." I started walking away. Then I stopped. "Rachel?" She looked up. "Mom didn't leave me everything." Rachel frowned. "She left me a responsibility." "What responsibility?" "To make sure what she built doesn't disappear." Rachel looked confused. I continued. "And I think that includes you." She started crying again. "I don't deserve your help." "Maybe not." I paused. "But Mom would have helped you." Rachel looked at me. "And I don't want to spend the rest of my life wondering what she would have wanted us to do." 6 months later, I did something nobody expected. I sold the house. Not because I didn't love it. I did. It was the only home I had ever known. But Mom had left me more than a building. She had left me an opportunity. I took the money from the sale and created a small foundation in her name. The foundation helps single mothers pay for emergency housing and legal assistance. It was exactly the kind of thing Mom would have done. Rachel eventually entered a financial recovery program. She paid back what she could. She apologized. Not once. Many times. And slowly. We started talking again. Not like before. Maybe we never will. But something changed. 1 year after Mom died, Rachel and I stood together at her grave. She brought flowers. I brought a handwritten letter. We stood there quietly. Then Rachel said, "Do you think Mom knew we'd be okay?" I smiled. "I think she knew we'd have to work for it." Rachel laughed through her tears. "That sounds like her." We both looked at the headstone. And for the first time since Mom died, I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel cheated. I didn't even feel lucky. I just felt grateful. Because my mother didn't leave me a fortune. She left me something much harder. The chance to decide what kind of person I would become when nobody was watching. And maybe that was the real inheritance. Not the house. Not the money. Not the investment account. But the lesson she spent her entire life trying to teach us. Sometimes loving someone means giving them everything they want. And sometimes it means having the courage to give them only what they truly need. If you stayed until the end, Thank you. And if this story touched you in any way, remember something. Money can change a family's future, but forgiveness can change its history. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel for more emotional family stories, unexpected twists, and powerful endings. And I'll see you in the next story.